Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So, in the last week, we were discussing from chapter 7, wherein uh, being requested by all the assembled devatas and Brahma, Daksha requested the Rityas to purify the sacrificial arena by offering Purodasa oblations. As soon as they offered oblations, invoking the presence of Lord Vishnu, invoking the purification of the entire sacrificial arena, Lord Vishnu appeared. Then there was a nice description of Lord Vishnu form, beautiful form compared to many analogies, and consisting of 8 arms with 8 different weapons: Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, bow and arrow, sword and shield. And then one by one, starting with Daksha, they began to offer their heartfelt prayers, we can say, in one sense. So I started with Daksha. Daksha starts. So you are one alone, fearless, pure consciousness alone, beyond all material intelligence, devoid of Maya, situated in your spiritual abode, accepting the role of the Purushavatara along with Maya within the material world. You remain independent, though you appear contaminated with material qualities. So he says that, my dear Lord, you alone free of any contamination, but not Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. They are all full of contamination. So, but sometimes you take the form of human being and appear in this material world. So this is a way Daksha speaks to the Lord. Even though he is speaking about the Lord in a two terms, but still he is attributing the material form to the Supreme Lord. So unable to happy hearing this, the Ritvijas, the priests say that, "O omniscient Lord, because of the curse of Nandishwara, we have become absorbed in karma and do not know the truth about you. We know you in the form of sacrifice only, called dharma, for attaining artha, dharma, artha, kama, in which the result is an arrangement of the share for the devatas." So basically, the Ritviya says that somehow or other we don't know, because of our past karma or because of the curse of Nandi, our understanding of your personality is limited. We only understand you as dharma personified, as yajna personified, and we understand that our purpose of life is to perform yajna, that is our dharma, for the accomplishment of dharma, artha, kama. That's all we know. So Daksha, being one among us, also knows about you this much only. He can't know more than that. That's why he's attributing the human form onto you, the transcendental Lord. Like that, they speak, looking at Daksha. Then hearing this, Sadasya, the assembly says, treading the road of samsara without resting places, with holes of happiness and distress, full of fear of wild animals, subject to forest fires of lamentation, in the presence of the fearful snake of time, and dangerous with the 5 types of suffering. When will the ignorant people afflicted by lust, that means afflicted by kama, carrying the heavy load of the house and body, arising from a thirst for sense objects? They say that the Ritvijas and the personalities like Daksha, they are motivated by kama. As a result of that, they are simply attracted to the fulfillment of the demands of the body and senses. When will they rise from that understanding? Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, something like that. To that effect, the Sadasya, the assembly says that, when will these Brahmanas, the priests, and the Daksha will rise from their current understanding of the purpose of human life? Something like that. They they say. So this is where we stopped, and today we'll continue with verse number 29 onwards. So having heard from Daksha, having heard from the Ritvijas, then having heard from Rudra, having heard from the Sadasyas, now Rudra is going to speak. Rudra is saying that, Rudra Uvacha, Tava Varada Varang Rao Asiteha Kilarte, Hi Api Munibir Asakter Adare Narhaniye, Yadi Rachita Diyam Ma Vidyalokopi Viddam, Japati Naganaye Tatvat Paranugrahena.
Lord Shiva said, "My dear Lord, my mind and consciousness are always fixed on your lotus feet, which, as the source of all benediction and the fulfillment of all desires, are worshipped by all liberated great sages, because your lotus feet are worthy of worship. With my mind fixed on your lotus feet, I am no longer disturbed by persons who blaspheme me, claiming that my activities are not purified. I do not mind their accusations, and I excuse them out of compassion, just as you exhibit compassion towards all living entities."
Yeah. When Daksha said that, my dear Lord, only you are faultless. Even personalities like Lord Shiva, Brahma, they are all full of faults. So, as an answer to that, as a reply to that, as a response to that, Lord Shiva speaks this. Shiva said that if the ignorant, yadi avidya loka, if the ignorant people criticize me as impure, apaviddam, apaviddam japati, ignorant me, criticize me as impure. If you remember in Ishopanishad, we discussed about qualities of absolute truth. Shuddham, apapaviddam. Apaviddam means he is not at all contaminated by, he is not, he is free of all faults, such as uh, impurities and others, etc. Apaviddam means impure. So apaviddam means not, paviddam means pure. Apaviddam means impure, like that. So if the ignorant criticize me as impure, when I meditate upon your precious lotus feet, which are worshipped with devotion by even the detached sages, and which can bestow all benefit, Akila Iva Varada, arising from desire, I do not consider that criticism significant by your great mercy. So since Daksha told that, okay, this Shiva is full of faults, my dear Lord, you cried when your father-in-law died. Sutarjit died, you cried. But when I died, he did not cry only. He is acting as if he is a Atma Rama, something like that. So, but here Lord Shiva said that, my dear Lord, even though Daksha criticized me long back, but I never considered it as worthy of consideration. I just ignored. I have not taken his criticism very significant. That is all because of your great mercy. So, like that, he is recognizing Lord's mercy. Ashisha means because of desire. Although those feet bestows all benedictions, they should be served by persons without desire. Thus, I have become absorbed in those feet. Though Lord's lotus feet can bestow everything, but the intelligent should worship the lotus feet of Supreme Lord only for Lord's mercy, not for the fulfillment of one's desires. There is one verse comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyone remembers? Very nice verse. His Grace Radha Gopinath who always quotes this verse whenever he speaks. In Bengali. वही है ना यही मूर्ख अमृत चाड़ी विषमागे ए बड़ा मूर्ख अमी विज्ञा विष के बदिना स्वचरणामृत दिया विषय बुलाइवा. So there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually Krishna is speaking. These foolish people come to me giving up nectar and ask for me vishaya, the blessings to fulfill the sense gratification. But I am intelligent. I will not give them the fulfillment of their material desires. Instead, I will give them my charanamrita diya. I will give them the nectar of my lotus feet. Having tasted that, they will forget their desire for material enjoyment. So something like that. Your lotus feet can fulfill all the desires, but intelligence should worship your lotus feet for the purpose of getting your mercy, not for fulfilling their material desires. So that's what Lord Shiva is telling, that I am not interested in material desires. I was simply meditating on your lotus feet, meditating on your compassionate nature. And Daksha, without proper understanding, went on to criticize me. But I did not consider that as serious thing or significant in that way. Those who do not have knowledge, such as Daksha, say that I have broken the rules of good conduct. That is only gossip. What is he speaks only simply gossip. I have never broken the rules of good conduct. He is thinking that he is my father-in-law, I am his son-in-law, so I have to offer him respects when he comes, get up, etc. etc. But I am worshipping you. Worshipping you means worshipping everyone. Narada Muni says in the fourth canto, later on we see in the end last chapter of this canto, he says that famous verse. What was that? Please tell me. What was the verse? By watering the root of a tree, the entire tree is nourished.
यथा तरोर्मूलनिषेचनेन
Yes, yes. Yata taror mula nisheshanena trupyanti taskanda bhujopashaka pranopahara cha tatendriyanam sarvarhana machyuteja. So by worshipping Lord Vishnu, the worship of all the devatas is taken care. Just like by watering the root, the entire branches of the tree are nourished. By feeding the stomach, entire body is nourished. So I was already worshipping Lord Vishnu. There is no need to worship or respect Daksha secondarily. Something like that, indirectly. So this is the response of Lord Shiva to the words of Daksha. Then having heard this response of Lord Shiva, then Bhrigu comes forward and he begins to say something. Bhruguruvacha enmayaya ganayapa kritatma brahmadayasthanubrutas tasmai sapanta natman shritam tava vidanti adunapi tattvam soyam prasidatau bhavan pranatatma bandhu. Yes, someone can read the translation. Prabhuji.
Sri Bhrigu said, My dear Lord, all living entities beginning from the highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to the ordinary ant, are under the influence of the insurmountable spell of illusory energy, and thus they are ignorant of their constitutional position. Everyone believes in the concept of the body, and all are thus submerged in the darkness of illusion. They are actually unable to understand how we live in every living entity as the super soul, nor can they understand your absolute position. But you are the eternal friend and protector of all surrendered souls. Therefore, please be kind towards us and forgive all our offenses.
Now, Bhrigu is saying, in order to counter the statements of Lord Shiva, Bhrigu says, persons having material bodies, starting with Brahma, includes Lord Shiva also, like that, according to him, whose spiritual knowledge is covered by insurmountable Maya, and who are afflicted by ignorance, even now do not speak the truth about you, the self-illuminated person. You, the friend of those who are humble, should forgive us. So like that it says, persons having material bodies starting with Brahma, Shiva and others, whose spiritual knowledge is covered by insurmountable Maya, and who are afflicted by ignorance, even now do not speak the truth about you. So says that, mentioning Brahma and others, Bhrigu also instant Lord Shiva. They are afflicted by ignorance. Even now, they do not know the truth about you, who are self-revealing. Atmanu Shritam. Afflicted by ignorance, they say that I know about Lord, something like that they say. The ignorant speak of something else. Be kind to them. I also am an offender, according to what I said. So I also part of this people who are afflicted by your Maya, covered by ignorance, and speak about you as something, but actually I also don't know. The ignorant speak of something else. Be kind to them. I also am an offender, according to what I said. You are not the friend of Brahma or persons like me. Me means you are not the friend of Lord Brahma or the Brahmanas, but you are the friend of those who sincerely offer respects and have nothing. You are the Lord of Akinchanas. Namo Akinchana Vittaya Nivritta Gunavrittaye. Still, please be kind to us. Please forgive my offense. And Bhrigu says that everyone, including Brahma, Shiva, everyone is completely covered with ignorance. No one knows about you. And still they say that I know about the Lord, I know about the Lord, something like that. So please forgive all of us. Like that, Bhrigu is saying.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, there is humble request. I don't know with others, but I'm getting very low. Sound is very low. Whether others are hearing properly, I don't know. So not able to hear only.
Okay, I have not changed any settings of the system. So can you increase your volume, Mataji? Your device.
It is full, but I don't know what is happening. Okay, Prabhuji, then continue. Others are also listening.
Other devotees are able to hear me properly?
Perfect, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, maybe then some problem with my system.
So this is the response of Bhrigu Muni to the answers to the response given by Lord Shiva. He says that including Brahma, Shiva, and all of us are actually covered by ignorance. You are Maya. So how do we know about you? But still we say that we know you, we know you. That is not proper. Please forgive us. Please be kind upon us. Only your pure devotees know about you. Like that, Bhrigu says. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, as long as one is under the concept of the body as a self, it is very difficult to understand the Supreme Lord or the Super Soul. The only remedy is to surrender to Lord Vishnu and always pray to be excused. One should depend only on the causeless mercy of the Lord for deliverance and not even slightly on one's own strength. Only by Lord's causeless mercy we can understand the Lord or we can be delivered from the clutches of material existence. Daiviyesha Gunamayi Mamaya Durataya Mam Yeve Prapadyante Mayam Yetam Tarantite. So it's like that. So hearing the words of Bhrigu, who included Brahma, Shiva, everyone that no one knows, then Brahma speaks as a response to Bhrigu's words. Naita Swarupam Bhavato Sau Padartha Veda Grahai Purusho Yavadikshet Jnanasya Chartasya Gunasya Chashrayo Maya Mayad Vyati Maya Madad Vyatirikto Matastvam.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, your personality and eternal form cannot be understood by any person who is trying to know you through the different processes of acquiring knowledge. Your position is always transcendental to the material creation, whereas the empiric attempt to understand you is material, as are its objectives and instruments."
So here Brahma says that, my dear Lord, as long as one is under the shelter of the sense devatas, Jnanasa stands for Jnana Shakti, the mind and sense devatas, which appear from the Satvik Ahankara, which we have seen in the previous canto, third canto. And the bodily parts, Arthasya refers to the body made up of 5 gross elements and also the body which acts as the 5 tanmatras for other living entities. And then the subtle sense organs, Gunasya, the subtle senses, 5 Jnandiyas, 5 Karmendriyas, Buddhi and Prana. So as long as one is under the shelter of the Adhyatma, Adibhuta, Adidaiva body, the 24 elements, one cannot see the form of the Lord. Naetad Bhagavata Swarupa Mikshet. Because the Lord's form is spiritual or transcendental. So Brahma says that a person with material body can never see the Supreme Lord with a spiritual body by using their material senses. Because you are different from these material factors. Because your body is not made up of the same 24 elements. It is entirely different. So with the help of 24 material elements, one cannot see Lord's transcendental form. So this is the response of Lord Brahma. As long as one does not see your form, one is in the shelter of the present deities of the senses, the gross organ and sense object and the subtle sense organ So basically, as long as one does not see your form, one is under the clutches of Maya, which manifests in the form of the material body consisting of 24 material elements. From Sattva-guna, we get mind and the devatas who will supervise all our activities. From Rajoguna, we get intelligence, prana, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas. From Tamoguna, we get the 5 tanmatras and 5 panchamahabhutas. So something like that. So having the darshan of Lord Swam means we have been liberated from this material existence. So till then, till one gets your darshan, one is under the control of the body only. So like that, Lord Brahma is saying here.
Everybody in the assembly is having his darshan.
I mean, he is stating his understanding. They all have darshan. Yes. When one sees the Lord directly, one is no longer under the shelter of the sense devatas, gross organs, or the senses. Mad darshanam paramavadi. This particular phrase comes in the second canto, 9th chapter, where Lord Narayana speaks Chatushloki Bhagavatam to Lord Brahma. So here in that section, we see that one thing, Lord Vishnu touched the hands of Lord Brahma. We always say that Lord Vishnu shook hands with Brahma. Did not actually shake hand, just touched the folded palm of Lord Brahma. There, Lord Vishnu speaks. He says that Mad Darshanam Paramavadi. So that means the darshan of the Lord or Lord's abode is the final destination. So whatever we may want to get in this material world, but the topmost thing that one will get is, or one should get is, or one supposed to get is darshan of the Supreme Lord, or darshan of Lord's abode. So that's what Brahma is saying, same thing here. So when one sees the Lord directly, one is no longer under the shelter of Maya, which appears in the form of the 24 material elements, which is combination of which is our material body. One will have non-material perception since you have a spiritual form different from the material factors such as sense devatas. Even the same concept is also mentioned by the devatas who appear in the prison house of Vasudeva, where Vasudeva and Devaki were house arrested. When Devaki was pregnant, Lord Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. That time devatas come and offer prayers to Lord. So Satyavratam, Satyaparam, Satyam, etc. Like many prayers. There in one prayer, the Devata says that unless until, O Lord, you appear in this material world in your transcendental form, the living entities in the material world will never understand the difference between the material body and spiritual body. Because every living entity in the material world, all the way up to Brahma, are made up of material bodies. So as long as we see each other, we only have the understanding of the material body. And theoretically, we may read about spiritual form in the scriptures. But unless until you come with your spiritual form and show your form, the nature, qualities, and characteristics of your form, we will never be able to understand, appreciate the nature of the spiritual form. It is only when you appear, we understand what it likes to be. So it is like that. So like when small children, when they hear about some new delicacy, new food stuff, they have not eaten till date. The mother is telling that, okay, today we are going to ISKCON temple, ISKCON Juhu. In the Govindas, they are serving a special item. That is nowadays that has become very famous. So the children will ask, mother, what is that? What color it will be? How it will be like that? Something like that. She will be keep asking. So whatever mother might say, the child will not understand it completely. Only the child comes to Govindas and eats it. Actually, when sees it, smells its fragrance and touches it and experiences the softness and hardness and puts in the mouth and relishes the taste, then that will be the complete understanding. The theoretical understanding is always partial only. So like that. Only when one will see your form, then one's understanding about the transcendental nature of your form becomes completely realized. Then the understanding that one is not the body, one is spirit, And that spirit is a part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit. That understanding becomes realized. Till then it remains a theoretical knowledge. So like that, Lord Brahma is saying here. So that's why he's saying that one will have non-material perception. Since you have a spiritual form different from the material factors such as in devatas, you cannot be perceived by those material factors. That much we know. We know this much. Your body is not material, it is spiritual. Those with material senses who think they see the Lord do not see the Lord's real form. That is a statement directed to Bhrigu and others. And here Brahma says that though apparently all of us are seeing you now, but with our material form. But with our material form. So by seeing with our material form, with our material eyes, with our material understanding, we, in spite of seeing you, we may try to equate you, one among us. Then also our understanding is not complete. So like that. So of course, seeing through our eyes is also required. At the same time, we also need to have jnana chakshu. We need to see through the eyes of knowledge. So looking at Bhrigu and others, Brahma is saying this. Those with material senses who think they see the Lord do not see the Lord's real form. Though all of us, all these Brahmanas, Daksha and Bhrigu, they are all seeing you because you are standing in front of us. But our seeing you is not complete. Because just by seeing you, one's material understanding is completely removed. And Daksha, all these Brahmanas and Bhrigu, they are still speaking the material terminology only. In spite of seeing you, they have not realized completely. That means they are not seeing you properly. They are seeing only superficial seeing. So thus Brahma speaks looking at Bhrigu and others. So it's like that. Hare Krishna, able to follow what each one of them saying?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So when Brahma said that even though all of us, even no one can see through the material eyes, but unless until one sees you, one cannot be freed from the material existence. But though all these Daksha, Bhrigu and other people, Daksha and others are seeing you, they are not seeing you completely. Because the scriptural understanding is that as soon as one sees you, they should be freed from material conception. These people, in spite of seeing you, they are speaking with the material conception only. So we cannot see you with our material senses. Then immediately Indra says, no, we can see the Lord with the material senses also, because now we are seeing him. How can you say we cannot see him? So like that Indra answers. Idamapi achyuta vishwa bhavanam vapuranandakaram manodrisham suradvidvit kshapaner udayudair bhujadandair upapannamastabi.
King Indra said, "My dear Lord, your transcendental form with 8 hands and weapons in each of them appears for the welfare of the entire universe, and it is very pleasing to the mind and eyes. In such a form, your Lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of your devotees."
So Indra says that, O Lord, O Achyuta, your body endowed with 8 arms, carrying 8 different weapons to destroy the different demons, is auspicious for the entire universe. Vishwa Bhavanam, your form brings auspice to the entire universe, can be perceived even by our material senses and mind, and gives us bliss. I don't agree with Lord Brahma, whatever he says, not like that. Even with our material senses, we can perceive you and we can experience bliss. Like that, Indra says. By your mercy, how? By your mercy, your body makes this universe auspicious. This 8-armed form for destroying the demons is seen by us, even with our material senses, by your indescribable mercy, and gives us bliss. Yeah, yes. By our own endeavor, we will not be able to see you with our material senses. That is true. But by your mercy, we will be able to see you even with our material senses. What was the shloka from NOD? In our NOD, we have read this shloka many times. Whenever Radhika Vallabh Prabhu speaks, he speaks this verse. Anyone? Sevonmukhe jivado smayameva spurati yada. What was the beginning of that verse? Anyone can guess? अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्राह्यम् इन्द्रियै सेवोन्मुखे जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरति यदा. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि, the understanding of nama, rupa, guna, lila of Lord Krishna is not possible with the senses. Na bhavet grahyam indriya. With our material blunt senses, we will not be able to understand the nature of the Supreme Lord about his nama, rupa, guna, lila. But when the same senses are engaged in service of the Supreme Lord with seva unmukha, with the favorable attitude of serving the Supreme Lord, then the Lord will reveal himself from within the core of the heart. Swayam eva spurati yada. That is, by Lord's causeless mercy, he will reveal about himself, about his nama, rupa, gunalila, within the heart of that practitioner who is engaging all one's senses in the service of the Supreme Lord in a favorable way for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. That was the definition of bhakti. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena sevanam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So, anukulena krishnanushilanam bhakti ruttamam. So when we engage with our blunt senses, we will never be able to understand the Supreme Lord. But when the same senses are engaged in service of the Supreme Lord with a favorable attitude of pleasing the Lord, the Lord will reveal his own understanding to us. So that is the understanding. Ordinarily, Indra says that we cannot understand you or we cannot see you with our blunt senses. But with your mercy, even with our blunt senses, we can see you. We can get an understanding of you. Like that is saying. This is proof that there is no other way in which we can be blissful. The proof is that upon seeing you, we become blissful, which is not the case when we look at others. This statement is directed to Brahma. So it is like that. Having heard all these different people speaking, looking at each other, then the Patnya Uchu, the different wives of Daksha speaks. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, like how we take the balance between two, because just one verse prior, Brahmaji was saying that we cannot perceive you with our material senses, and next verse Indra says that no, we can perceive you. So how?
Yeah, that's what na here is there na. We can perceive the Lord even with our material senses by your indescribable mercy. This point need to be added. That's what I said na. Ata Sri Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. That's what Brahma said. But Indra says that sevonmukhe jivado smayameva purtisyada. But the same senses we can understand the Lord when they are engaged in service of Supreme Lord.
Okay, so whatever Brahma said, Indra is adding the seva part in it, and that is why, and Lord's mercy, because of which we can perceive
Yes,
like that.
yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
यज्ञोऽयं तव यजनायकेन सृष्टो विध्वष्ट पशुपतीनाद्य दक्षकोपात् तं नस्त्वं सव शयनाभशान्तमेदम् यज्ञात्मं नलिनरुचा दृशा पुनीः.
The wives of the performers of the sacrifice said, "My dear Lord, this sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma, but unfortunately Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene, and because of his anger the animals made for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore the preparation of the yajna has been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of this sacrificial arena may be again invoked."
Yeah, here the ladies are speaking, the wives of Daksha and other Brahmanas. Actually, Daksha's wife Prasuti will speak later on. She separately will come. So Patnya, which means the wives means, so the wives of the assembled Brahmanas and assembled men, in that way we can take. So they say that the sacrifice created by Brahma for worshipping you has been destroyed by Lord Shiva because of his anger at Daksha. O lotus naveled Lord, O Padmanabha, O Lord of the sacrifice, O Yajnatma, O Yajnapurusha, kindly purify with the glance of your lotus eyes the sacrifice where animal sacrifice has stopped or the sacrifice was abruptly stopped. So kindly purify the sacrificial arena so that the sacrifice can be completed for the well-being of the entire universe. Because this sacrifice was undertaken by the instruction of Lord Brahma. Following the instructions of Lord Brahma, Daksha had undertaken this sacrifice. Daksha is the sponsor of the entire sacrifice. So because of Daksha's one mistake, Lord Shiva became angry and destroyed the entire sacrifice. So now the whole universe is put into ruination. Kindly rejuvenate, purify the sacrificial arena and rejuvenate it for the well-being of the entire universe. Don't take one person's offense so seriously and stop the entire sacrifice. Don't put the entire world in the ruination. So kindly rejuvenate and make the sacrifice go ahead properly so that the entire world becomes prosperous. That was the whole idea. So here the ladies are saying that, "O Lord with a lotus navel, purify the sacrifice in which animal sacrifice had stopped with your eyes. Without your presence, nothing can be accomplished, even with all the present efforts." This is addressed to everyone. So my dear Lord, all these different men, aided by Brahma and Daksha and all other Brahmanas, etc., they think that they can accomplish on their own, but they don't understand that without your presence, nothing can be accomplished. So somehow or other, you by your godless mercy, you have come here. So by your glance, you purify the sacrificial arena, and by your auspicious may sacrifice be completed. Let the universe become auspicious and prosperous. This is our request. So this is the request of the ladies who are there. So in that way. So in the purport, so taking the context of the modern situation, so Prabhupada says that in the yajna, the animals were sacrificed just to test the efficacy of the mantras. And after sacrificing the animal, they could rejuvenate those animals with the mantra, or they are promoted to higher species, or they are promoted to heaven. So like that, the different possible conditions Prabhupada is stating in relation to animal sacrifice. And he says that animals are honestly not supposed to be killed. They are supposed to be protected, something like that purposes. So then, having heard the ladies, that the ladies are requesting Lord Vishnu to allow the sacrifice be completed. Then the rishis all the great sages who are present there in that assembly, they are saying, Ananvitam te bhagavan vicheshtitam yadatmana charasi hi karma najyase vibhutaye yata upasedurishwarim namanyate swayam anuvartatim bhavan.
The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful, and although you do everything by your different potencies, you are not at all attached to such activities. You are not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy.
So in the previous verse, the lady said that if the sacrifice becomes completed, the entire universe becomes auspicious and prosperous. So taking that word prosperity, the Rishis are speaking. Oh Lord, your activities are astounding, since you perform actions by yourself and do not become contaminated by those activities. Bhagavad Gita, anyone remember any shloka from third or fourth chapters in relation to this? The Lord is not contaminated by the activity that he performs. It is there?
Utsideryo
Right.
me loke. I'm doing it as a example. That was
No.
I
There is a verse, of course, one verse from third chapter also, but there is a verse in the purport only. Just you look down 2-3 lines, you will see that.
no, I'm not having any book with me. I was
Oh.
just thinking he's saying he's setting an example. He says
Yeah.
no, where I don't require to do any perform any activity, but still I perform so that others follow it.
Yeah, that is from third chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Yadyad acharti shlesha
Yeah,
tattateva
yes,
itya. And then
yes.
even I don't have to do any activity, I still perform activities. If I don't perform activities following my path, all the entire world is put into ruination. So something like that. But in the fourth chapter, it specifically says that everyone need to perform the activities. But how they should perform activities? Namam karmani limpanti name karma phala spruha. One need to perform all the activities, but not with the mentality of enjoying the fruits. Na me karma phala spruha. I perform all the activities as a matter of duty, but not with a desire to enjoy the results of all those activities. Those people who know me like this and those who engage in their activities like this, they will also never be bound by the material world. Hare Krishna, can you kindly mute whoever it is?
4.14.
Sundar Leela Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We are hearing a lot of music. So that was the idea. So then the sages say that whereas others worship Mother Lakshmi for wealth and prosperity, you do not accept her for wealth. The ladies were saying that if the yajna is completed, the world become auspicious and prosperous. So they are performing yajna for the purpose of becoming prosperous, for the purpose of getting Lakshmi. But devotees do not worship you for prosperity. So indirectly they are hinting like that. Ananvitam means impossible for others. Your activities are astounding because you perform them by yourself alone and you are not attached to those activities. And if the Lord is not attached to those activities, still is performing, then what to speak of is becoming attached to the results. All other performers of action are attached to the results. Here you see, the ladies are expecting that sacrifice should be completed immediately because they are looking at the results. They want auspicion, they want prosperity, etc. etc. This comment is directed to Brahma and others because the ladies told that it is Brahma instructed Daksha and Daksha sponsored, and the Brahmanas engaged in performing the sacrifice. So everyone, all the way from Brahma down to the lowest living entity, they all want the results of the sacrifice. So indirectly, they are worshipping Lakshmi than worshipping Narayana. Whereas others worship Lakshmi for wealth, you do not accept her. You do not accept Lakshmi whom others worship for wealth. That means, my dear Lord, you accept Mother Lakshmi for her devotional attitude towards you, but not she is the Lord of wealth. She is the presiding deity of wealth, not for that purpose. But people in this world generally they worship Lakshmi for getting wealth, not for getting the service attitude of Mother Lakshmi. So here Binit Prabhu is asking, what is wrong? Worshipping Lord for wealth. What is wrong? What is wrong with wealth? What is the problem with having wealth and praying for wealth? Can anyone help us? So Prabhu said that if everyone is healthy, everyone is prosperous, everyone is peaceful.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am. Little louder.
If someone is asking for wealth for service of the Lord, then it is fine. But if someone is asking for health for own sense enjoyment, then it is not right. That's what I feel, whatever my understanding.
Okay, Prabhuji. Anyone else? If one starts getting wealth, then one wants more and more wealth. There is a problem with wealth. So if one starts getting seva, so then one can pray for more and more seva. There is no problem with that. So in that way. So basically, the entire world is worshipping Lord Vishnu, anticipating the causeless mercy of Mother Lakshmi, some wealth and prosperity. When Lord Vishnu himself is not at all attached to that aspect of Mother Lakshmi as the deity of Lakshmi. Lord Vishnu is pleased with Lakshmi's seva, but not Lakshmi being the deity of Lakshmi or something like that. So indirectly the sages are saying that. So these ladies, all the way up to Brahma, they are performing the sacrifice only for the sake of prosperity, auspicience, etc. That is not at all good. The intelligent people worship you for your wonderful activities. They glorify your wonderful deeds because those are all wonderful, something like that. Because the rishis by nature are already renounced, so they are not interested in worldly prosperity. So in that way, that is their understanding of the Supreme Lord. That is their understanding of the worship of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, and Daksha, Prajapatis, Brahma, they are all grosas. They need some wealth. For them, their worship of the Lord also consists of accumulating some wealth. So that is their understanding of, obviously, no? He is the Lord of all of us. I mean, the grandfather of all of us in that sense. So it's like that. Of course, the rishis are also grosas, many of them, but still they are renounced. They are in the forest, etc. So now Siddhas are saying something. बहुत सारा फर्क है. We discussed already in third canto. You read through 10 to 20th chapter. 20th chapter. After going home, you read. अयं त्वत्कथामृष्ट पीयूष नद्यां मनोवारण क्लेशदा वाग्निदग्धा तृषार्तो वगादो न सस्मारदावं न निष्क्रामति ब्रह्म संपन्नवन्ना.
The Siddhas prayed like an elephant that has suffered in a forest fire but can forget all its trouble by entering a river. Our minds, O Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute.
Yeah. So there are two understandings. So one understanding of Siddhas are the Siddha Charanadhyaras, who are the perfected beings, who have all the mystic powers, mystic potencies, who are self-satisfied, something like that. That is one meaning. The other meaning of Siddha is those who are Prema Bhaktas, those who have achieved perfection in their practice of sadhana bhakti. So what they say, our minds like elephant born from a forest fire and afflicted by thirst become absorbed in the sweet pure river of your pastimes. Do not remember the fire of samsara and do not come out of the river as if having merged into Brahman. Brahma Sampannavat. So in the forest, if there is a forest fire, the entire area is completely burning. The elephants, unable to tolerate the heat of the forest fire, feeling so much thirsty, they run. Eventually, they enter into a water body. It may be lake or a river or a canal. Then they remain in the water body only. They don't come out only, thinking that the forest fire is still continuing, still continuing. Like that, a devotee, having been troubled by the tapatraya of this material world, when they enter into the association of pure devotees, where there is continuous nectarian flow of Krishna Katha, they will never come out of this. Because they think that if I come out of this, if I get out of this place, again I will be put into forest fire. So that will be the understanding of Prema Bhaktas. They continue to remain in that nectarian ocean of Krishna Katha. So that is the understanding. Siddha here means those perfected in bhakti with prema. The mind immersed in the river of pure nectar of your pastimes does not remember the fire of samsara, davanala, samsara davanala anlidoloka, tranaya karunya ganaganatvam. The mind does not come out of that river as if having attained oneness with Brahman. Let us submerge ourselves in the nectar of Lord's pastimes without considering that what duties we should do nor not do, with contamination or without contamination. This statement is directed to the sages. In the previous verse, sages said that we are supposed to talk about or hear about the wonderful activities of Supreme Lord. Instead, people like Brahma, Bhrugu, Daksha, and all these ladies, they are worshipping the Lord only for Lakshmi. That is not proper. Then here the Prema Bhaktas are saying that yes, that is true. The material world is like the forest fire. So unable to tolerate the forest fire, feeling so much thirsty, one should enter into the river of nectarian Krishna Katha and stay there. And if somebody asks that, hey, what about your duties, your worldly responsibilities? It's okay. We want to submerge ourselves in the waters of the Lord's pastimes without considering what duties we should do and what we should not do. And then they say that, hey, no, how can you do that? If you don't perform your duties, you are contaminated, you are at fault. Still no problem. We are at fault, no problem. Whether we are at fault or we are at not fault, still we just want to continue to hear or continue to perform bhakti activities only. So this should be the mentality of one. Like that the Prema Bhaktas are saying. Because the ladies are saying that no, we should complete this sacrifice for the betterment of the entire world. And then the Rishi said that only the people with material consciousness will talk like that. And the Prema Bhakta said that no. Whether the sacrifice may continue or may not continue, by that we should continue to practice bhakti activities. So like that, these Prema Bhaktas will say.
Everybody is taking a clue from the previous prayer and they are saying their own prayer.
Yes. They are taking something from the previous prayer and they are adding onto it, or they are throwing a different dimension only. So something like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One question.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, why would the Siddhas, the perfected devotees who are Prema Bhaktas, be in a place where this fruitative, this thing is being done, sacrifices are being done?
Because they were invited.
No, because generally we say the devotees don't go to the place where karma kanda activities and all are being done. So that's why I was wondering.
So that is a problem. So we think that we are devotees, so we don't go.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not talking about ourselves. I'm
No,
just
not
saying.
not we. Those who think that they are devoted, they will not go. But not like that. If there is an invitation, one should go there.
Okay. But won't it contaminate their this thing, because the prasadam, if they have the offerings they have and all those things would be is not this thing, na? It is
Yeah,
not
see,
without any motivation.
yeah, that is true. In one sense, that is true. What you said, that is all required. Of course, here we can see the sponsor is Daksha. Daksha consciousness is also proper in one sense. But this is the invitation from Brahma. It is Brahma only instructed Daksha to do it. It is Brahma who is kind of teaching everyone that they should follow this karma, no, this yajna. So that is there. That is required also. So even the devotees also be part of it. What is the problem? No problem for timing. But even after coming there, they are telling that no. Okay, somehow yajna started, but somehow it went disturbed in between. Don't worry about continuing that. So please engage in bhakti activities that will accomplish all the other activities. So they are there, they are taking the opportunity to preach what should be done.
Okay.
So in that way we should see.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Prabhuji, means earlier I had heard that Prem Bhaktas can be, they are always worshipping the form of the Lord. So, and those who are Brahman realize or means they don't accept the form of the Lord, they will not reach to the stages of Bhava and Prema, because with whom they will have those exchanges. But here, what has been said in the translation, that your transcendental pastimes and the desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute. So Siddhas are saying, so merging our consciousness in hearing your pastimes is like the pleasure of merging in the absolute. So why are they comparing, in spite of being a premi bhakta, why are they comparing that bliss with merging in the Brahman effulgence?
No, that's why I mentioned in the beginning only. There are two categories of Siddha. There are two meanings to this verse. One Siddha, if you consider them to be part of Siddha Charana Vidyadharas. So they have attained perfection following the path of Bhakti Mishra Yoga. They have come to the platform of Samadhi. So there they experience Brahmananda. So that is one category of Siddhas. The other category of Siddhas are the perfected Bhaktas. Siddha here means those perfected in Bhakti who have come to the platform of Prema. So from this
That's
context we are discussing. Both are different meanings. If you read through the translation and purport, that is for the Siddhas who perfected Ashtanga Yoga with Bhakti.
Okay.
Here what we are reading in slides, these are practicing sadhana bhakti and attained perfection. They have come to Prema Bhakti platform. Both are different.
Okay. And who exactly are these Siddhas, Prabhuji? Like, means they are like Vidyadhara and Charan.
Both the meanings can be seen. Sanskrit is such a language, you can see both people.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And Prabhuji, these Siddhas are like the great sages, or they are like Vidyadharas and Charanas, or they are different entities?
No, Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadhara, three of them are one category only.
Okay.
They are all perfected beings by the practice of Bhakti Mishra Yoga.
Bhakti Mishra Yoga. Okay. All
Chitraketu
three of
Maharaj
them.
himself became Vidyadhara. Chitraketu Maharaj
Yeah.
himself became the king of Vidyadharas. He was one example in that sense.
Yeah. And what are the 8 kinds of material perfection, Prabhuji? Like here in the first line of purport, it says that where in Siddha Loka, those people have 8 kinds of material perfection in complete life.
Oh, na Prapti, Vasita, Kama Vasita. So that 8 misses is this. So that one.
Achha, Ashtasiddhis. Okay.
That only.
So Ashtasiddhis are called as material perfection, Prabhuji.
Obviously.
Achha, okay. Okay, fine. Thank you.
A Ashtanga yogi in the mode of passion practice Ashtanga Yoga to get these 8 mystic siddhis. A Ashtanga Yoga practitioner in the mode of goodness practice Ashtanga Yoga to come to the platform of Samadhi and then eventually enter into Sahyujya. Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati nakankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. That means the Ashtanga Yogi in the mode of goodness practicing Ashtanga Yoga comes to the platform of Samadhi. Samadhi means Brahmabhuta. He has come to Brahman platform. Prasannatma, he has become completely peaceful. Na sochati, he does not anchor for anything material, even including all the 8 siddhis. Na sochati, na kankshati, he does not hanker for anything. Na sochati, he does not lament whatever he was living with till now. So before becoming a renounced order and before practicing Ashtanga Yoga, he might be having lot of land, lot of wealth, many vehicles, and good name in the society, etc., etc. So he is not lamenting because they were all forgotten. They were all given up. He does not lament for it. Na sochati, na kankshati. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. You only sees Paramatma everywhere. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi asni sunnucheva psavakecha pandita samdarshana. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktin lamate param. Then, after entering into Samadhi platform, having come to this consciousness, what remains with him is only bhakti. So till now he was practicing Bhakti Mishra Yoga. By the practice of Ashtanga Yoga, along with little bhakti, he has come to the Samadhi platform. Having come to Samadhi platform, he no need to perform any more Ashtanga Yoga. He will give up the Ashtanga Yoga practice also. Now what remains is with him is bhakti. So what will he do with that bhakti? What was the next verse? Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse number 55. Bhakti Shastris. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. By practicing that leftover bhakti, now he has nothing else to do. So only bhakti is remaining with the practice of that bhakti. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Yavan yas chasmi tatvataha. By practice of that bhakti, that practitioner will understand me in tatvataha. Tato mam tatvataha. What tatvataha? Tato mam tatvato jnatva. Vishate tadantaram. Some of the Ashtanga yogis who are practicing this, they will understand me in my future as Brahman, Tat. Having understanding me as Tat, Brahman, they will enter into my Brahman. Vishate tadantaram. And some fortunate yogis will understand me, my personal form, Bhagavan, Tato Mam. Then with that understanding, they will enter into Vaikuntha. There they will get Sarishti or Salokya Mukti. So this is the perfection of those Siddhas. They eventually merge into Brahman. So like that. So here the understanding is that while having come to Samadhi platform, then while engaging in that Bhakti, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, they are already experiencing Brahmananda. Eventually they enter into Brahman, but before entering into Brahman, they are already tasting the Brahmananda. So that is the understanding. So it is like that. So that is for the Siddhas as per the 20th chapter of the Bhagavatam. And what is mentioned here in this chapter, in this slide, it is for the Premi Bhaktas. The Premi Bhaktas say that, my dear sirs, please don't, my dear ladies and gentlemen, don't worry whether the Yajna will continue or not. Please engage in Bhakti activities, Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smaranam. So that is enough for us. Because this material world is full of made up of troubles. So now Virabhadra came and created trouble. So tomorrow somebody else will come and create trouble. So don't worry. Begin performing Bhakti activities and immerse yourself in the performance of Bhakti activities. Even though you may think that not performing our duties as per our household order is a fault upon us, is a sin upon us. But they say that still no problem. Whether we may be with sin or without sin, engage in Bhakti, Bhakti will take care of everything. So like that they are saying. So this is their viewpoint. So in that way. Then, having heard these statements, when they say that no, let us practice Bhakti, only forget about other things. Then the Yajamani Uvacha, the Yajamani says, Hare Krishna, able to follow what I said?
Yes, Prabhuji.
स्वागतं ते प्रसीदेश तुभ्यं नमः श्रीनिवासाश्रियकान्ताय त्राहिना त्वामृतेदीश नागै त्वामृतेदीश नाग्नैर्मकशोभते शीर्षा शीर्षहीनाकबन्धो यथा पुरुष.
The wife of Daksha prayed as follows: My dear Lord, it is very fortunate that you have appeared in this arena of sacrifice. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, and I request that you be pleased on this occasion. The sacrificial arena is not beautiful without you, just as a body is not beautiful without the head.
Then Prasuti, the wife of Daksha, who was the third daughter of the Swayambhu Manu, granddaughter of Brahma, she is saying that, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, welcome to you. Be pleased with us. I offer respects to you. O Lord of Lakshmi, Srinivasa Shriya Kantaya. Okay, O Lord of Lakshmi, without your beloved consort, please deliver us. Sorry, with your beloved consort, please deliver us. Without your presence, the sacrifice is not auspicious. Though endowed with all elements, it is like a headless body. Shirshahina ka bando purusha yata. What is the use of a person without head? So without your presence, performing this sacrifice, getting the blessings of Mother Lakshmi in the form of prosperity and auspiciousness is all of no use. And the Prasuti is saying that, yes, my dear devotees, whatever you say is correct. But what can be done? This is the instruction of our grandfather. So we cannot deny that. We want to practice bhakti also, we want to practice our duties also. So I pray to the Supreme Lord, my dear Lord, we are not only performing this yajna for the auspicious glance of Mother Lakshmi, and we are also performing this yajna for the auspicious glance of yourself also. Don't take an offense. The other ladies might have said that they are looking for the prosperity of the entire world. That is not the complete. We are also looking for your compassionate glance also. Please be here along with your wife, Lakshmi Devi, and shower your compassionate glance along with the glance of prosperity upon everyone. So like that, Prasuti reconciles that statements of the other ladies and the statements of the Prema Bhaktas. She said that we want bhakti also, we also want the performance of our duties also. So we cannot ignore the duties of our grandfather. So like that, she says. Prasuti speaks this verse. You have been very merciful to me, the daughter of Swayambhu Manu, as you were very merciful to Devahuti. You have become the son of Devahuti, my dear sister. Same way, by appearing today here in the sacrificial arena, you have showed your mercy upon me also. Since you have brought your wife Lakshmi to my house, please deliver us who have been destroyed by the offense to Lord Shiva. Somehow or other, because of my husband's offense towards Lord Shiva, this sacrifice has been destroyed completely. But still you have come along with your wife, bringing auspiciousness to our house. Kindly show your compassionate glance upon us. Without you, the sacrifice is not complete. This statement is directed to the Devatas and Brahma. So, apparently the Devatas and Brahma might be interested in the performance of sacrifice. But according to me, that we want to perform the sacrifice as well as we want to please you also. So, in that way. So, she kind of pacifies everyone adding this point. So, it's like that. And then having heard the statements of Prasuti, the Lokapalas say. The Lokapalas also have something to say. दृष्ट किं नो दुर्बिरसद्ग्रहैस्त्वं प्रत्यक् दृष्टा दृश्यते येन विश्वं माया एषा भवदीयै भूमन् यस्त्वं सस्ता पञ्चभिर्भासि भूतये.
The governors of various planets spoke as follows. Dear Lord, we believe only in our direct perception. But under the circumstances, we do not know whether we have actually seen you with our material senses. By our material senses, we can simply perceive the cosmic manifestation, but you are beyond the five elements. You are the sixth. We see you, therefore, as the creation of the material world.
Yeah. Previously, Brahma said that we cannot see you with our material senses. Later on, Indra said that with your mercy, we can even see you with our material senses. So now the Lokapalas are saying, taking the reference from both of them, they say that, "Oh Lord, you, the internal seer, Pratyak Drishta, the Sakshi, the Paramatma within, by whom the universe is seen and who can be directly seen, are not visible to eyes, not visible to us by our material senses. That you appear to be made up of five elements is only your Maya. O Lord, you, the internal seer, by whom, that means the internal seer means the internal Paramatma, who is the Sakshi, who is the witness of all our activities, who is seeing us by staying within our heart, by whom the universe is seen and who can be directly seen, who is, and are not visible to us by material senses. Through our material senses, by our own endeavor, we cannot see the universe, we cannot see the Lord also. But by the mercy of the Paramatma, we can see the universe as your Vibhuti and we can see you also. So like that, the Lokapalas are saying that you appear to be made up of the five elements is only your Maya. So in that way, Daksha told that, you take the form of the human and appear in this world. So that is only Maya, like that they say in that. We cannot see you by senses which perceive material sense objects, but you can be seen by your mercy. You, the sixth, beyond the five elements, seem to have a material body by means of the five elements. That is your Maya. Those who think that your form is material, such as Jarasandha, do not see you. Since Jarasandha, Duryodhana, those who consider you as one among them, they actually do not see you. Since they do not realize your sweetness. This is directed to dry jnanis, sages, and devatas. So, like that. So, when we see something transcendental with our material eyes, so we say that the transcendental form also has the attributes of the material elements. So that understanding is not proper. So like that. Just like whenever Duryodhana and Jarasandha personality they see Krishna, they say that Krishna is a Mayavi. So actually Krishna is not Mayavi, but instead people such as Kamsa and Jarasandha and Duryodhana are completely bewildered by Maya. So that is understanding. Though apparently Lord's form appears to be something made up of five elements, but actually it is not. It is beyond. It is made up of the sixth element, Sachidananda. So something like that. The Lokapalas are saying. Sorry. Order.
How can you distinguish between the material and the transcendental?
That needs lot of training.
So when Krishna appeared, when he created his pastimes here for 100.
So here Prabhuji is asking, when Lord Krishna appeared, performed pastimes for 125 years, how many knew that he is Bhagavan? Or who can know him to be Bhagavan? Hare Krishna devotees online.
Only the Premi Bhaktas, na Prabhuji, like Pandavas, Kunti Maharani, Vidura, they all knew that he's the Lord himself, and that is evident from time to time, whatever prayers they have offered. But we see that the Kauravas and Dhritarashtra's and all that, those who were materially inclined, even after Lord shows his Vishwaroop partially to Duryodhana in his assembly, still he never could see Lord as the Lord.
Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. Only those people who are with Bhakti, they will see the Lord as Lord. Those people who are without Bhakti, they will see Lord as one among them. That's all, simple.
But even those non-devotees, they also saw the Lord, they also achieved liberation. There is a verse in the Kunti Maharani's prayers.
What was that verse?
Those who died on the battlefield, they achieved their swarupas.
So that also, those who died on the battlefield, looking at Krishna, understanding that Krishna is Bhagavan, not just dying.
If they did not have the understanding that
they will go to Swarga. That's all.
The understanding is more important than having
the material vision is not come all in all. Internal understanding. That's what we said, na Shastra Shakshu. That is more important than Charma Shakshu. Even we are hearing the regular Bhagavatam classes nowadays. The prayers offered by the ladies of Astinapura. They are all devotees. Even though they are normal, simple ladies of the Astinapur city, but they are all wonderful devotees. They understand about the Lord. So like that. Now in the next chapter, Lord will go to Dwaraka. Dwaraka also will receive him. They also understand about him as the Lord. So there are many devotees. With the devotion, one can understand the Lord. Without devotion, one sees Lord as one among them. Like Kamsa, Duryodhana, Jarasandha, personalities like that. Even though Lord may display wonderful opulences, wonderful mystic perfection, still they say, he is only Mayavi. Something like that they say. So now, Yogeshwara Uchu, the Yogeshwaras are saying, Preyannatenyosti amustvai prabho Vishwatmanikshena prutagyatmana Atapi bhaktesha tayopadhavatam Ananya vrityanugruhanavastala.
The great mystic said, Dear Lord, persons who see you as non-different from themselves, knowing that you are the supersoul of all living entities, are certainly very, very dear to you. You are very favorable toward those who engage in devotional service, accepting you as the Lord and themselves as the servants. By your mercy, you are always inclined in their favor.
Yeah, the masters of yoga, they are saying that, oh Lord, there is no one dear to you than those who see the jivas as non-different from you, the soul of the universe. However, O Lord, most affectionate to the devotees, Bhakta Vassala, please bestow pure bhakti on those serving you. There is no one dearer than those who do not see the jivas as different from you, since they are your Shakti, who know the jivas to be non-different from you. Lord will be understood by those people who see each and every living entity as a partial manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. You have said, what did Lord say? Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani notyartam aham sacha mama priya. Of these four types, Artho, Artharth, Jignasu, Jnani. The Jnani who is constantly engaged in thinking of me, who is practicing Bhakti alone is the best. I am cherished by that Jnani and he is cherished by me. However, please favor us with pure Bhakti of persons serving with the notion of I am your servant and you are my master. We are most fallen. How could we obtain the status of non-difference? And these Yogeshwaras are saying that, so my dear Lord, we are filled with so many material desires and interested in mystic perfections, all these things. But your devotees will never see any distinction between oneself and others. They feel others' pain as their own pain. They see others' happiness as their own happiness. And your understanding will be given to only such kind of devotees. And we are most fallen, kindly shower some mercy upon us also. Like that they are praying. By praising it, they condemned impersonal realization. The, the Yogeshwaras, by praising Bhakti, they actually indirectly condemning the impersonal realization. Because in that impersonal realization, there is no concept of serving the Lord. So they are criticizing that. The servants of the Lord are most dear to the Supreme Lord. This is directed to the Jnanis. And then they say that, my dear Lord, you have said in 11th canto. What did he say? Na tata me priyatama atma yonirna shankara na cha sankarshano na shrir naivatma chayata bhavan. My dear Uddhava, neither Lord Brahma, Atma Yoni, nor Lord Shiva, Sankarshana. Sorry. No. Shankara, na Shankara. And Lord Sankarshana, Nacha Sankarshana. Sankarshana means Balram. And Na Sharir, the goddess of fortune. Nor indeed my own self, Naiva Atma, not my own self, is as dear to me as you are. So this is what Lord said in Uddhav Gita. So for me, neither Brahma, nor Lord Shiva, nor Lord Sankarshana, nor Lakshmi, nor myself are as dear as you are, my dear Uddhava, because you are such a Premi Bhakta. So like that Lord says. Same thing is also mentioned in the 9th canto when Durvasa Muni goes to Vaikuntha. That time Lord Vishnu says, Nahamatmanam ashase madbhaktai sadhu birvina shriyam chatyantikam brahman esham gatir aham priya. O best of the Brahmanas, without saintly persons for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulence. So for the Lord, more than his own abode, more than Lakshmi, more than his associates, his devotees are dear to him. That is the position of the devotees. This is understood by the word Bhakta Vastala. You are most affectionate to the devotees. This is heard everywhere in the scriptures. It is never said that you are affectionate to the Jnanis, Yogis, or Karmis. Lord is not a Karma Vasala, Jnana Vasala, or Yoga Vasala. He is only Bhakta Vasala. So it's like that. So in the previous verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Lord said that the Jnanis are like me. But in the verse from Uddhava Gita, Lord says that the devotees are much more than me. They are superior to me. So something like that. That is the position Lord gives to the devotees who are Ananya Bhaktas, even without a small trace of Jnana. So there in the Bhagavad Gita, it was Jnani Bhakta. He is a devotee but with a tinge of Jnana. And Uddhava is a Premi Bhakta. Any tinge of Jnana. So in that way. And they further continue. Some more they say. जगदुद्भवस्थितिलयेषु दैवतो बहुविद्यमाना गुणयात्ममायया रचितात्मभेदा मतये स्वसंस्थया विनिवर्तिता ब्रह्मगुणात्मने नमः.
We offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme, who has created varieties of manifestations and put them under the spell of the three qualities of the material world in order to create, maintain, and annihilate them. He himself is not under the control of the external energy. In his personal feature, he is completely devoid of the variegated manifestations of material qualities, and he is under no illusion of false identification.
Yes. They continue to say that I offer respects to the Lord who creates different mentalities in the individuals by his Maya. composes of gunas divided in various ways by the jiva's previous karmas for creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe, and whose intelligence is completely devoid of delusion, causes by the gunas because of being situated in his swarupa. He says that some say that Parabrahman takes on the form by being mixed with Maya, where there is the state of servant and Lord, and consequently the affection of the Lord for his devotees. They are actually mistaken. So the Yogeshwaras, they say that the people say that even the Parabrahman, the absolute truth, takes on different forms by mixing with three modes of material nature, and where the statement of servant and Lord comes, basically is negating the philosophy of impersonalism, and actually they are mistaken. What is actually happening? I offer respect to he who creates different mentalities for creation, maintenance, and destruction in Brahma and other beings by his material energy composed of gunas, divided up variously because of jiva's karmas. The different mentalities come because of the desires of the jiva initially, and the mentalities will continue because of the karmas of the jivas subsequently. So it's like that. It is all because of the jiva's desire and their karmas. The different jivas acquire different mentalities and they continue to perform different activities, which can be called as creation, maintenance, and destruction. Basically, birth, performing activities, and destroy death. Birth, performing activities, and death. All these things are happening because of their desire and karma. I offer respects to he whose intelligence is not deluded by the gunas because of being situated in his Swarupa. But the Lord is situated beyond the influence of three modes. He is situated in his own Swarupa, Sachidananda Swarupa. So the Lord is not at all affected by the three modes of material nature. But all the other living entities in the material world affected by three modes of material nature go through creation, maintenance, and destruction. Birth, life, death. Birth, life, death. That is happening in this material world. So like that, they actually state their understanding of the material existence in this material world. So this is how one after the other, one after the other, one after the other are continuing to speak. So any questions till now? Hare Krishna.
Can you please put more light on this verse again?
If you see the previous verse is that for Lord is Bhakta Vasala. Lord is very much dear to the devotees. Then one may ask, what about others? So others are not dear to the Lord. So others are also dear to the Lord. So for others, Lord put them in a system, a natural system which follows the creation, maintenance, and destruction process. Because that is what they want. The other people want to attain a particular nature because of their desire, and they will be forced to continue because of their karmic activities in that particular mentality. And as a result of one's desire, as a result of one's particular activities, they will continue in a process known as creation, maintenance, and destruction. And all this is happening because of the Lord's Maya. And that is the affection Lord's, that is Lord's affection toward the living entities who want to remain indifferent to the Lord. Yeah, he is facilitating, he is showing compassion to all other living entities by facilitating their birth, existence, and death, etc. Because that is what they wanted. That so Lord providing all of them. That is also Lord's special mercy upon them. Otherwise, for the Premi Bhaktas, Lord is Bhakta Vasala. So something like that. They are saying.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice to hear.
Yes. Anyone else? Any question? There are no questions. We'll take 5 minutes break and we'll continue with verse number 40, where the Vedas personified are going to say something, and we'll continue from there on. So we'll
Hare
meet after
Krishna.
5 minutes.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji will take your question after 5 minutes break.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah.
अभी देख मेरा मेरा बहन का डायरेक्ट करना डायरेक्ट अभी तेरा बहन यही सोचता रहेगा झगड़ा किया वो माँ के साथ किया मेरे साथ तो झगड़ा किया नहीं वो यही सोचेगा ಎಲ್ಲ ರೋಲ್ ಆಡಂಗ अब ये ना तो आप तेरा माँ भी तो ये ना हो बात तो फिर वो फिर नहीं रही माँ के साथ ही झगड़ा किया माँ ही रही तू मेरे को तू मैंने भी पूछा मैं मेरा बात मैं तेरे बारे में कुछ बात मैं तेरे बारे में कुछ मैं बोला ऐसे करेगा नहीं बोल अभी बोल मैं बोलेगा ऐसे करेगा क्या नहीं अभी तक तो टॉपिक चेंज करना मैं चुपचाप बैठा था मैं तो पहले ये वाली ना बोल मेरे से ये टॉपिक की बात करो ठीक है अभी स्टार्ट करूँ ना बोल अभी मेरे से मेरे डिस्कशन करेंगे आदित्य लोगों ने देखा तो बोला नहीं बोला हम लोग का डिसीजन है उन लोग का नहीं तो तू क्यों उसको मैनेज करने का कोशिश कर रहा है उन लोग का लाइफ तू क्यों मैनेज करने का कोशिश कर रहा है उन लोग का झगड़ा है वो उन लोग मैनेज करेगा मेरे को बुलाएगा तो कुछ सीधा बोलने का यार मैं लड़े में तुमको देंगे अगर मैं मुझसे ज्यादा बातें नहीं की बस बात करना देखो उन लोगों ने बोला कि तुम हम लोग के साथ चलना हम लोग के साथ बात करने के लिए नहीं ना वो उन लोग को उन लोग देखेगा उन लोग का जिंदगी उन लोग का करना उन लोग भोगते हैं क्योंकि वो एकदम नहीं वही बात नहीं कर रहे तुम लोग भी बात नहीं कर रहे क्यों सोचते ऐसे नहीं उन लोग को मार नहीं करेगा उन लोग को मार खाने हाँ नहीं है तेरे को मालूम है ना फिर काय को उन लोग के साथ झगड़ा करने को जाते हैं काय को उन लोग को कुछ बोलने को जाते हैं अक्ल नहीं है तो उन लोग को मालूम है तेरे को मालूम है उन लोग तेरा बात सुनने वाला नहीं है तो क्यों उन लोग को ज्ञान बांटने को जाते हैं इन्हें फिर क्या होगा तेरे को क्या अक्ल नहीं है उन लोग को जाके
Hare Krishna. Devotees are there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So now
Hare
the
Krishna.
Vedas personified are speaking. Brahmo Vacha Namaste Shrita Sattvaya Dharmadinam cha Sutaye Nairgunya cha Yat Kastam Naham Veda Parepi cha. Someone read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji, 1 minute. Um,
The personified Vedas said, "We offer our respectful obeisances unto you, the Lord, the shelter of the quality of goodness, and therefore the source of all religion, austerity, and penance, for you are transcendental to all material qualities, and no one knows you or your actual situation.
Okay. So here the Vedas personified. Generally, Vedas contains 4 sections known as Samhitas and Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. And through these 4 sections, the Vedas teaches Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda. And those sections of the Vedas which teach Karma, the Karma Kanda portions of the Vedas, they are praying. They are saying that I offer respects to you, the shelter of Sattva-guna. Namaste Shrita Sattvaya, the source of Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya. Dharma Adinam cha Sutaye, who are beyond the material gunas and Nirgunyaya, and whom neither I nor the Vedas know incomplete. Na aham na Veda apare apicha. You are situated beyond the Vedas. So even whether I, the Karmakanda portions, nor the Jnanakanda portions, nor the Upasana Kanda portions can know you completely like that. Because the Lord is a personality made up of Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya. Dharma Adinam. There is one verse in the first canto, third chapter. No, third chapter. Yeah, first canto, third chapter talks about this Dharma Adinam. Can anyone remember what was the verse?
Sir, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Krishnaswa Dhamopagate Dharma Jnana Dibi, that one?
Yes, that only. Krishna Swadhamopagate Dharma Jnana Dibi Saha Kalau Nashta Drushamesha Puranarko Adinodita. So when Lord Krishna disappeared from the surface of the earth, he also took away along with him Dharma and Jnana. Dharma Jnana Adibi Saha. We say Adibi, but what else? That is like this. Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya. All these are different opulence of the Supreme Lord. These are the 4 opulences which are generally considered to be the 4 feet of the seat on which Lord is seated. Generally, the asana on which we sit, or the asana on which the Lord is kept, and for the purpose of performing Abhishek or anything else, for the purpose of performing deity worship and etc. etc. The 4 feet of that asana are Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya. We say na that Dharma has got 4 feet. Satyam, Saucham, Daya, Satyam. So the 4 things which are very closely connected to Supreme Lord are these 4. Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya. So when it is said that Dharma, Jnana, Adibi Saha, Adibi includes Vairagya and Aishwarya. So in that way we should say. And these portion are saying that Brahma here means the Vedas which explain karma suitable to the current situation. Because here Daksha and all the other Brahmanas, they are assembled there to perform yajna, which is the important activity of Karma Yoga. So from that point of view, the Vedas personified who is responsible for the teaching of the karma is saying that Sattva-guna takes shelter of the Lord. He is the source of Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya, which takes shelter of the Lord. I and the other Vedas teaching Jnana and Upasana do not know the truth completely. What to speak of then others present here? So here the Vedas person was saying that I don't know who I am teaching karma. My 2 brothers who are teaching Jnana and Upasana, they also don't know about the Lord. Then what to speak of the people who are here, who are just simply following karma, who are following my teachings? How will they know about the Lord? What to speak of then others present here? This is directed to the followers of karma and Jnana who are seated in that assembly. The Brahmanas who are following karma, the Siddhas and the Yogis and the Jnaneshwaras, the Yogeshwaras are there, the followers of Jnana. So they also will not understand the Lord completely. Like that, the Vedas personified are saying. There is one verse from Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter also. Traigunya Vishaveda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvando Nityasattvasto Niryogakshema Atmavan. The one verse next to this verse. Anyone remembers from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2? That is much before. Couple of verses before this. The next verse after this, I think 45, 46 or 44, 45, these two. That is much later. The verse ends with Brahmanasya Vijanata.
Yavanartha Udapane?
Yes, yes. Yavanarte Udapane Sarvata Samplutodake. What was the next line?
Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya
Tavan
Vijanata.
Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanata. So the Vedas have 4 sections, as I just mentioned. Samhitas, they teach karma. Okay. Then Brahmanas, they teach upasana. Aranyakas and Upanishads, they teach jnana. Of course, each section will teach other parts also, but prominently Samhitas teach karma, Brahmanas will teach upasana, and Aranyakas and Upanishads teach jnana predominantly. So when it comes to Brahmanas, which also teach karma, here it is used. These are interchangeably used, but the Brahmanas also teach upasana kanda. Upasana is basically worship of the devatas, which goes all the way up to worship of Lord Vishnu. So, as Lord Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, verse number 15, Vedesha Sarvam, Vedesha Sarver Ahameva Vedyo. So, I am supposed to be known by the study of the Vedas and by following the Vedas. So Brahmanas, they teach Upasana, which talks about the worship of different devatas and also worship of the Vedas. Sorry, worship of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So those people who really understand the true nature of the worship of Lord Vishnu by studying the Vedas, they have understood the purpose of the Vedas. They have understood the meaning of the Vedas. Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvato Samplutodake. Just like Prabhupada translates it as that in the past villages they would have different wells. One well water is being used for drinking water, one well water for cooking water, one well water for bathing. So one well water for household chores, etc. But if there is a big reservoir, it can be used for everything. So something like that. But here we can also see like that. So the Vedas might be talking about so many things. So some section are for karma, some section for jnana, some section for yoga, some section for upasana, etc. But those people who really catch the essence, that is Vishnu worship. Brahmanasya Vijanata means those people who have really understood the essence of the Vedas. The true meaning of the Vedas is the Supreme Personality of God and His worship. Then they are the knowers of everything. That is the meaning of Vedesha Sarver, not Vedesha Sarver. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. The Vedas in general talk about karma, jnana and upasana. But those who really got the essence, that is worship of Vishnu, they actually transcend the 3 modes. So it is like that. Only they will understand. Otherwise, those people who are following only Karma Kanda section, Jnana Kanda section, Upasana Kanda section, saying that okay, the essence of the Vedas is performing Vedic rituals. The essence of the Vedas is to perform, study the literature and perform Jnana. And some may say that the essence of the Vedas is worship Devatas. They are still in 3 modes only. But those who understand the actual essence of the Vedas is to worship Vishnu, they are Brahmanasya Vijanata. They have understood the essence of the Vedas. So it is
Hare
like
Krishna.
yes,
Why you specifically mention here as Veda teaching karma?
because
Yeah.
Daksha is performing the yajna. Yajna means one of the important activity of karma yogis.
Okay.
Yajna is the principal activity of the grosas who are performing karma yoga. So here everyone assembled for Yajna only, na? That's why they are all as part of Karma Yoga followers. So now the discussion is about Karma Yoga, which is all about Yajna. In Yajna, the principal personality is Agni, because it is Agni who is taking the oblations. Now Agni's turn. Agni is going to say. Yat tejasaham susamidda teja havyam vahe swadvara ajyasiktam tam yajniyam panchavidam cha panchabi swistam yajurbi pranatosmi yajnam.
The fire god said, My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because by your favor I am as luminous as blazing fire, and I accept the offerings mixed with butter and offered in sacrifice. The 5 kinds of offerings, according to the Yajurveda, are all different energies, and you are worshipped by 5 kinds of Vedic hymns. Sacrifice means your supreme personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So now Agni is saying that, O Lord, I offer respects to you, sacrifice personified, worshipped by 5 types of verses, who act for the benefit of the sacrifice, soaked in ghee, which has 5 forms, by whose power I, bright with fuel, carry the oblations in the sacrifice. So Lord is Yajna Purusha, sacrifice personified, and is worshipped by 5 kinds of verses. And he is Yajna Purusha. He award the benedictions of the performance of Yajna. And in that Yajna, soaked in ghee, which has 5 forms, by use power, I, bright with fuel, carry the oblations in the sacrifice. So basically, the oblations are offered into the fire along with the ghee. The oblations are moistened with ghee, and when they are poured into the fire becomes ablaze, and fire will accept those grains which are offered as oblation and will take them to the respective deity on whose name the oblations are offered. So like that, Agni is saying. Some technical details about how to perform yajna, what are the different mantras are chanted in yajna, etc. are mentioned in this verse. Fire of the sacrificial fire speaks. There are so many different fires. There are in total 49 fires are there. Daksha had 16 daughters. The Daksha who is performing yajna now here he had 16 daughters. So his daughter, 15th daughter was given in marriage to Agni, or 14th daughter given in marriage to Agni. Her name is Swaha. So that Agni begot 3 sons, Pavana, Pavaka, Pavamana. And later on they married, they in turn begot 15 sons each. So 15 3 is 45 plus 3 plus 1. Total 49 Agnis are there. All these 49 are different Agnis. So among those 49 Agnis, that Agni who is in the Yajna, who accept the oblations in the fire sacrifice, is speaking now. So I just carry the offerings in the best sacrifice, but I do not know the truth about you. This statement is directed to the sacrificers who think they have knowledge. The Brahmanas who are performing sacrifice, they think that, okay, I know everything, what I am doing, why I am doing, who is the Lord, who is accepting all the oblations. They may think they know. But I, as the intermediate via medium who is accepting the oblations and giving to the respective deities and Supreme Lord, I don't know about you. But what I know is that you are beneficial to the sacrifice. Igniyam. You accomplish the expected results of the sacrifice in that way. So now, how a sacrifice becomes accomplished, then Agni goes into some technical details. In Aitareya Upanishads, there are 5 types of sacrifices mentioned. Agnihotra, Dasra, Purnamasa, Chaturmasya, Paushu and Soma. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the 5 different kinds of sacrifices that are recommended for the people in general to perform. This is from Shatapatha Brahmana section of the Aitareya Upanishad. So then, You are worshipped by 5 mantras. When yajna is performed, the 5 mantras are chanted. What are the 5 mantras? There is a 4-syllable mantra known as Ashravaya. This is one mantra chanted while performing yajna, which has 4 syllables, Ashravaya. And there is another 4-syllable mantra, which is known as Astu Shrausat. There is a 2-syllable mantra, Yaja. And there is 5-syllable mantra, Ye Yajamahe. Ye Yajamahe, if you remember, this letter comes in the Mahamrutyunjaya mantra. Anyone remember? Ye Yajamahe Pushtivardhanam. Mahamrutyunjaya mantra. If somebody is in
Yes,
danger, somebody is
yes.
attacked by evil influences, they were
Om
recommended that.
Shambhavam Yajamaya this one.
Yajamai,
Yes,
Sugandhim
yes.
Pushtivardhanam.
Kandam
Yeah,
Pushtivardhanam.
yeah, that mantra only. Trayambakam Pushtivardhanam. So, in that this word is used, Ye Yajamahe. And the 2-syllable mantra Vasat. So there are 5 mantras. Ashravaya, Astu Srostat, Yaja, Ye Yajamahe, and Vasat. So by chanting these 5 mantras, yajna is performed, oblations are offered. And then Smriti says the same thing. May Lord Vishnu be pleased with me by the 4-syllable mantra Chaturbis, and by another 4-syllable mantra Chaturbis, by 2-syllable mantra Dvabhyam, by 5-syllable mantra Panchabi, and the 2-syllable mantra Evacha. So here we have 4-syllable mantra Ashravaya, and another 4-syllable mantra Astu Srausat, and 2-syllable mantra Yaja, 5-syllable mantra Ye Yajamahe, 2-syllable mantra Vasat. So in that way. Yajna means the form of sacrifice. So like that, yajna gets into technical details. There are 5 kinds of sacrifices. There are 5 kinds of mantras used in the sacrifice. I don't know about the Supreme Lord. Even the people who are performing yajna, they may say they know, but they also don't know. What I know is all, it is the Supreme Lord who gives the results of the performance of yajna, for whom I carry all the oblations when they are offered being soaked in the ghee. So like that, he is saying. So now Deva Uchu, the Devatas who are there in the assembly, they are saying. Previously Indra spoke, now all the Devatas together are speaking. Purakalpa Purakalpapaye Swakrutam Udarikritya Vikrutam Tvamevadhyastasmin Salila Uragendradishayane Pumanseshe Siddhair Rudi Vimruštitadyatma padave sa evadyakšnor charasi brutyan avasina.
The demigod said, Dear Lord, formerly when there was a devastation, you conserved all the different energies of material manifestation. At that time, all the inhabitants of the higher planets, represented by such liberated souls as Sanaka, were meditating on you by philosophical speculation. You are therefore the original person, and you rest in the water of devastation on the bed of Shesha snake. Now today you are visible to us who are all your servants. Please give us protection.
So here the Devatas are glorifying Vishnu in his form known as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So from the point of view of the creation, they are saying. The Devatas say, previously at the end of the previous Kalpa, having placed in your abdomen the universe you created and maintained. In the previous day, the universe has been created, it was maintained throughout the day of Brahma, and at the end of the day, there was annihilation during which all the 14 planetary systems are destroyed. The entire lotus consisting of the 14 planetary systems and all the living entities all the way up to Brahma, they all entered into your abdomen. And whole night they took rest. Okay? And then, who are you? In whom the everyone rest all the way up to Brahma? You, the path of knowledge, Adhyatma Padavi, The object of meditation for the perfect sages in their heart, Siddher Hrudi Vismrita, lay down in the waters upon the king of snakes. You take rest, Yoga Nidra, on top of the bed of Ananta Shena. May you protect us, your servants, who see you now. So, my dear Lord Vishnu, you are not ordinary person. You are that Lord Vishnu who is known as Garbhodakshai, who created the beginning of the day of Brahma, who maintained the throughout the day of Brahma, who honored the entire universe at the end of the day of Brahma. Then all the 14 planetary systems and all the living entities all the way up to Brahma enter into your abdomen. And then you take rest on the bed of Ananta Shesha for the entire night of Brahma within the waters of Garbhodak ocean. So please accept our humble obeisances. You placed in your abdomen what you created and transferred or transformed. You are the path of knowledge upon whom the perfect beings meditate. You protect your servants. You are seen by us. These two statements indicate that you are seen by your servants whom you protect. You are known by them and not by others. You are only known by your servants whom you personally protect. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dvesheshu na priya. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhakta maite teshu aham. And what was that verse? 9th chapter. Name bhakta pranashyati. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So
Api chetsu duracharo bhajate mam. Shipram
no, this one only.
Dharma.
That is okay. This last two lines only. Kaunteya pratijanayi name bhakta pranashati. Those who surrender to me, I will take care of them. I will protect them. So they will understand me. Bhakti amam avijanati. So in that way, basically, I'm just trying to connect to that. So you are seen by your servants whom you protect. Somebody says that I am your servant and you will take the responsibility of protecting them. Yogakshemam vahamiham. You are known by them and not by others. Bhakti amam abhijanati. Not by others, not by yoga, not by karma, not by jnana. Only by bhakti, Lord will be known. This verse is directed to the sacrificers and jnanis. So what was that verse? Which Lord Rama speaks in relation to Vibhishan in Rameshwaram while they were constructing the bridge, Setubandha all the way up to Lanka. Yeah. Sakridevas prapannoyas tava asmiti cha yachate avayam sarvada tatmai etadeva vartam mama. If one says that, my dear Lord, I am yours, so I'll take a vow that I'll protect them for the rest of eternity. Even once if they say. So in that way, they will understand about the Lord completely. And
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, like some days back, you had explained to us that it is not that path of karma or path of jnana, yoga are bad. They are they are trying to reach to the Lord by different means. But here we see that everywhere this point has been highlighted that it is not by jnana, it is not by yoga, only by bhaktas will know the Lord. So that means the other path, whatever sadhana they are doing, they will always remain incomplete. Because even in the previous verse, just before the breaks, we saw that Lord will be known as Bhakta Vatsala and not as Jnani Vatsala or Yogi Vatsala like that. So, means Lord doesn't acknowledge their sadhana, or because their goal is imperfect, that is why Lord doesn't get more inclined towards them, or how we should see that.
So by studying MBBS 5 years and then MD 3 years and then DM another 3 years, will that person become a administrative officer like collector or something like that, IAS officer, or he will become a doctor?
Become doctor.
Same way, a person who studies engineering will become engineer only, he will not become IAS officer. In order to become IAS officer, one need to study accordingly. So the purpose of karma, jnana, yoga is to give the realization of Atma, what Atma is all about. It is Bhakti which will give the realization of the Lord. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tatata tato mam tatoto jnata vishetantaram. It is only by Bhakti one will realize the Brahman feature or Paramatma feature or Bhagavan feature of the Supreme Lord. One may theoretically hear, one may understand, but one will never realize by practice of karma, jnana, yoga about the true nature of the Bhagavan. The ultimate result of practicing karma, jnana, yoga with the mixture of bhakti is realization of the self. This is the conclusion of the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. After realizing the self, then one should endeavor to realize super self, Bhagavan. How? By the practice of bhakti. So what is bhakti? How to practice bhakti? Chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Bhagavad Gita. So it's like that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Here they are telling that when they say karma jnana means only by karma, only by jnana, only by yoga one cannot understand you completely. One may not one understand, one cannot realize you completely. One may understand, one may hear about you again and again, but realization will come only by bhakti. Tapasvino jnanapara yashasvino manasvino mantravida sumangala క్షేమం న విందంతి వినాయ దర్పణం తస్మై సుభద్రా శ్రవసే నమో నమః. క్షేమం నా విందంతి. The highest auspiciousness for the practitioners of jnana, tapasvi, for the practitioners of yoga, manasvi, for the practitioners of karma, yashasvi, and for the practitioners of Vedic literature, study of the Vedic literature, mantravida, sumangala, and auspicious activities like charities, etc. The highest auspicious is only to going back home, back to God, becoming an eternal sort of Supreme Lord. That is only possible. Or even by entering, even going to Brahman is only possible when they take shelter of Bhagavan. Kshemam na vinnanti vinaya darpanam. Without offer, surrendering to Supreme Lord, one will not get the expected result. So that is the position of bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Gandharva uchu amshamshaste deva marichi adya ete ब्रह्मेन्द्राय देवगणा रुद्रपुरोगा क्रीडा पाण्डं विश्वमिदं यस्य विभूमन् तस्मै नित्यं नाथ नमस्ते करवामा.
The Gandharvas said, Dear Lord, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, and the great sages Marichi and Indra, are all only differentiated parts and parcels of your body. You are the supreme, almighty, great. The whole creation is just like a playing thing for you. We always accept you as the supreme personality of Godhead, and we offer our respectful obeisances unto you.
Here the Gandharvas are saying that, O Lord, O most powerful person, Marichi, Brahma, the Devatas, having Shiva at their head, are portions of you, for whom this universe is a part used in playing. Therefore, we always offer respects to you. So in the current assembly, Brahma, Daksha, and all the Devatas, Brahmanas, Rishis, they all took shelter of Lord Shiva, requested him to complete the sacrifice. So Lord Shiva came there and doing the needful. So now the Gandharvas are saying that, my dear Lord, all Brahma, Marichi, and all other Devatas, Brahmanas, and Rishis, they all having Lord Shiva as their leader in order to complete the sacrifice, are all part and parcels of your personality. Amsham Shamte. They are all parts and parcels of your personality. And this universe, which is also part and parcel of yourself, and along with all the living entities, is like a part used in playing by you. Therefore, we always offer respects to you. Let us offer respects to you. We, entering the assembly, praise Daksha as the Supreme Lord. But actually, we praise you alone, since all others are portions of your portions. The function of Gandharvas in the assembly of Devatas is to glorify the Devatas. Whoever is there, wherever they are called for, they will glorify the Yajaman. If Indra called the Gandharvas to his assembly, they glorify Indra. Here, Daksha called all the Gandharvas to that yajna. So the Gandharvas sing songs for the glorification of Daksha, Brahma, and other Devatas who are assembled there. So they are saying that. So my dear Lord, don't think that when we are singing the praises of Indra, praises of Chandra, praises of Varuna, praises of Daksha, etc., the praises are actually not their praises. We are actually praising you by chanting their names because they are all your different body limbs. They are all your different parts and parcels. So we are individually glorifying different body limbs. So finally it is all your complete glorification. When we glorify Indra, we are glorifying your hands. When we are glorifying Surya, we are glorifying your eyes. When we are glorifying Chandra, we are glorifying your mind. So like that, they are saying. So my dear Lord, don't take it otherwise that we are called here and we are glorifying Dakshana. That's not like that. Since they are all your part and parcels, our glorification of these personalities is nothing but in reality it is your glorification. Since all others are portions of your portions, they think they are the lords. They are the Lord, but they are not. This is directed to Brahma and others. The Brahma and other Devata, they might think that they are so and so. But actually, according to our understanding, is that they are all small part and parcels of your personality. So when we offer praises, they are actually meant to you. So like that. This is the understanding of Gandharvas.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
This question, what does part and parcel means? Part I understand. What does parcel means?
Okay. Lord Brahma appeared from Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
So Brahma is a part of Lord Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from Brahma appeared Marichi, Bhrugu, Pulaha, Kratu, etc. And from Marichi appeared Kashyapa.
Yeah.
And from Kashyapa appeared Aryama. From Aryama, all of us appeared. So Brahma is the part. And all of us, all the way up to Brahma's sons, they are part and parcels. They are parcels of the part. Or otherwise, they are the parts of the parts.
I just want to know what. Yeah.
See, simple. Amsha, Amsha.
Okay.
Amsha means son. Lord Vishnu's son is Brahma. Amsha means the son of the son, the grandson.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like that.
Okay.
Marichi, Kashyapa, Aryama, and all of us are the subsequent parts of the Brahma, who is a part of Vishnu.
Okay.
So, like that. Amshas. Part and parcel is those 19th and 20th centuries British language, because Britishers used to use part and parcel. So Prabhupada used to use that word in his writings. Then Vidyadharas are saying, Gandharva said, now Vidyadharas turn. Tanmayayartam abhipadya kalevarasmin krutva mamaham iti durmatir utpataisvai क्षिप्तोऽपि असद्विषयलालस आत्ममोहं युष्मत्कथामृत निसेवक उद्युदस्येत्.
The Vidyadhara said, Dear Lord, this human form of body is meant for attaining the highest perfectional objective, but impelled by your external energy, the living entity misidentifies himself with his body and with the material energy, and therefore, influenced by Maya, he wants to become happy by material enjoyment. He is misled and always attracted by temporary, illusory happiness. But your transcendental activities are so powerful that if one engages in the hearing and chanting of such topics, he can be delivered from illusion.
So this is connection to the previous verse. In the previous verse, Gandharvas are said that though, my dear Lord, we might be singing in the names of the Devatas, but actually we are singing glories of you only, because all the Devatas are non-different from your part and parcels. So they can be seen as part and parcels, or they can be seen as different body limbs as part of the universal form. So now the same concept can be seen in the material world also. So that aspect here Vidyadharas are highlighting. After attaining a body and identifying in that body with me and mine, due to your Mahamaya, the ignorant person, bewildered by family and desiring temporary objects, rejects illusion concerning himself by hearing your topics. The same concept of amshas, part and parcels can be there very perfectly, very strongly in the material world. One can come out of that part and parcel concept and come to this part and parcel concept only by hearing your wonderful topics. What is the material conception of the part and parcel? Attaining sense objects and identifying with me and mine, the ignorant person, bewildered by his sons, desiring temporary objects, can completely reject illusion about himself by serving the nectar of your topics. This is directed toward the dry jnanis and karmis. So in the material world, the concept is that me, aham mameti, me and mine. I am there. After marriage, wife is there. Eventually there are children. Eventually after their marriage, there are grandchildren. Eventually after their marriage, there are great grandchildren. So like that, there is me and mine. There is part and parcel. Son is one's part and grandson is the part of the part. So like that, one may be bound in this material world with the concept of one's part and parcels. But when we hear Krishna Katha, we come out of this part and parcel concept and we get into the another part and parcel concept. That part and parcel concept is, it is the Supreme Lord is the main person, and his part is Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma's part is all the Prajapatis, and we are all belonging to them. So that is the connection with respect to the soul. So Jivera Swarupa Krishna Vidasa or Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhut Sanatana. So like that, there is a transcendental connection to the Supreme Lord. So by hearing Krishna Katha properly from a bona fide spiritual master, one comes to the understanding of that Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Not just the connection due to body level platform, but the connection due to spiritual platform will be regained by hearing Krishna Katha. So that is what is mentioned by Vidyadharas. So if we don't get to hear this, we are simply bound by the material concept of part and parcels only. So like that, it is indicated. So now, finally, the Brahmanas who are performing the sacrifice, they are kind of concluding their words by concluding with their concluding words, their prayers are coming to an end. The Brahmanas are saying, Tvam kratustam avistvam uta sa swayam tvam hi mantra samiddarba patrani cha tvam sadasya rutvijo dampati devata agnihotram swadasoma ajam pashu.
Brahmana said, Dear Lord, you are sacrifice personified. You are offering of clarified butter. You are the fire. You are the chanting of the Vedic hymns by which the sacrifice is conducted. You are the fuel. You are the flame. You are the kusha grass. You are the sacrificial pots. You are the priest who perform the yajna. You are the demigods headed by Indra, and you are the sacrificial animal. Everything that is sacrificed is you or your energy.
So it's like that. This verse is resembling a verse from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Brahmarpanam Brahma.
Yeah, same thing. Everything that is included in the yajna is an expansion of Brahman in that sense. Here the Brahmanas are saying that you are the sacrifice, you are the oblations, you are the fire, you are the mantras chanted, you are the vessels used, you are the fuel, that means samida, wood, and you are the kusha grass on which one sits. You are the assembly, you are the priest, you are the sponsor, you are his wife. The sponsor is Yajamani and the wife is Yajamana. The Devatas, you are the Devatas on whose names the oblations are offered. And the offering, you are the offering which is given to the Agni, and you are the mantra Swada, and you are the Soma which will come out of the Yajna at the end, and you are the ghee which is poured into the fire sacrifice, and you are the sacrificial animal which is offered at the end. So everything is you only. There is nothing other than you. So in this way. The Brahmanas, they are performing the yajna, they are the main priests. Oh yeah, they know. That is what Vedas say. Everything sarvam kala vidam Brahma. Aham sarvasya prabhu matam sarvam pravartate. Bhagavad also says everything comes from me only. How they are different? Shakti and Shaktiman both are same only. Everything Shakti is Lord's manifestation only. How can it be different from the Lord? Achintya Beda Beda, they are simultaneously same and different. So in that way. That's what now we have to see. Everything is Lord's only. So everything should be offered for the Supreme Lord. What was that first verse? The Mangala Charana verse of Ishopanishad. Mangala Charana verse, not the first mantra. Om Purna Mida Purnam, Purnat Purna Mudachate. The entire material world is coming from the absolute truth only. It is coming from him, so it is not different from him in that sense. They continue. The same thought process they further continue. They speak 3 verses actually. Tvam Puragam Rasaya Mahashukaro Damshraya Padminim Varanendro Yata Stuyamano Nadalli Layayogibir Yujjaharta Traigatra Yajnakartu.
Dear Lord, O personified Vedic knowledge in the past millennium, long, long ago, when you appeared as the great boar incarnation, you picked up the world from the water as an elephant picks up a lotus flower from a lake. When you vibrated transcendental sound in that gigantic form of a boar, the sound was accepted as sacrificial hymn, and great sages like Sanaka meditated upon it and offered prayers for your glorification.
So here in the previous verse they said that whatever is used in the yajna, it is all your manifestation. So yajna is you. This is not only our verdict, this is also the verdict of the sages or the great personalities who are residing in Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, who offered prayers in the 3rd canto, chapter 13, when Lord appeared as Varaha. That time they offered prayer saying that Lord Varaha is Yajna personified. And that they are remembering here and saying that. Oh, personified Vedic knowledge, Trayi Gatra, Trayi Mayam, having the form of a sacrifice, Yajna Kratu, in the past, in the form of a great boar, Mahashukaro, the Shweta Varaha, praised by the sages, Yogibir Stuyamano. Who are the sages? The residents of Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka, they all offered prayers in that chapter. You easily lifted up the entire Bhumandala from the waters of Garbhodaka ocean with your tusk, like an elephant lifts a lotus flower while you roared. So while lifting that Bhumandala, while the sages are offering praises, just in reciprocation to them, out of great happiness, in order to give happiness to all the sages, you roared loudly and then you shook your body. While you shook your body, all the water fell all over the universe and everyone's body was moistened by those water and everyone became blissful. Just like in the morning after Mangalarti, when that Argya which was offered to the Lord during Mangalarti, it was put into that vessel and it is put on the head of everyone or just after in the second later part of the Mangalarati. Everyone feels very happy. So something like that. O form of the Vedas, this explains the Lord in the form of sacrifice. So previously they said that everything in the yajna is your manifestation, and you yourself was glorified by the sages in the past when you appeared as Varaha at the yajna Purusha. Trayimayam, the form of Vedas, the form of yajna, etc. etc. And now they are kind of offering prayers, prayer requesting for the blessings and auspiciousness. Saprasidatvam samakam sama taprasidatvam asmakam akankshatam darshanam te paribhrashta satkarmanam kriyamane nrbirnamni yajneshate yajna vignakshayam yanti tasmai namaha.
Dear Lord, we were awaiting your audience because we have been unable to perform the yajnas according to the Vedic rituals. We pray unto you, therefore, to be pleased with us. Simply by chanting your holy name, one can surpass all obstacles. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you in your presence.
Yeah. So now they being the Brahmanas who were taught from their childhood how to perform yajna, why to perform yajna, for what purpose yajna should be performed. Now they are saying that, my dear Lord, so thank you very much for your presence here. We offered oblations invoking your presence so that the entire arena can be purified, so that the sacrifice can be completed for the welfare of the entire universe. So please show your auspicious glance upon us. May you, non-different from the boar. My dear Lord, you are non-different from that Varaha. You and Varaha both are same only. So if Varaha is Yajna Purusha, you are also Yajna Purusha. You are non-different from that. So may you be pleased with us, who are eager to see you. Though we have interrupted the sacrifice. So sacrifice was stopped in between abruptly, but we are eager to see you. O Lord of sacrifice, Yajnesha, when people chant your names, the obstacles to sacrifice disappear. We offer respects to you. So whatever obstacle that may be there in the performance of yajna, all will disappear by chanting your holy names. So we are chanting your names in different ways. Yajnesha, Yajnamaka, Yajnakratu, like that, so many different ways they chanted Lord's names. So kindly purify this sacrificial arena so that the yajna can be completed. There was an inquiry made by Lord Vamana onto Shukracharya after sending Bali Maharaj to Suraloka. He says that, so what was the problem in your disciple? Why did you curse him? What was the wrong? Why this yajna has been stopped abruptly? Something like that. Lord Vamana asks Shukracharya. Then Shukracharya says that mantratas tantratas chidram sarvam karoti nichitram. So there may be any imperfection in chanting mantras, in performing the all different Vedic rituals, but wherever your holy names are chanted, all the shortcomings will be eradicated. The endeavor will become complete. Tava sarvam karoti nichidram tava sankirtanam tava. So something like that. Everything becomes nullified by chanting your holy names. So like that, Shukracharya also says this in the Bhagavatam 8th canto, I suppose. I think the Brahmanas are saying that if chanting your name destroys obstacles, then how much more your very presence destroy obstacles? You may be somewhere, but just by chanting your holy names can destroy all the obstacles in the performance of one's yajna. Then what to speak of your direct presence? The obstacles to the sacrifice were the followers of Lord Shiva. Who are the obstacles? Veerabhadra and others. So this statement is directed towards them. When the various speakers put blame on various persons, it indicates that there is no fault in the devotees of the Lord. since their position is generally made superior. Throughout the discussion, everyone was finding faults with somebody else, but nobody found faults with the devotees. That means devotees are faultless. So that is unspoken conclusion of this section of Bhagavatam. So in that way, indirectly, that conclusion can be derived from this section of Bhagavatam. Even ultimately, the Brahmanas are saying that there are so many obstacles in the form of Lord Shiva's followers.
Prabhuji, this verse is there where Varadev is described as a Yajna Purusha in Bhagavatam.
Yeah, 13th chapter of the 3rd canto.
13th chapter of the 3rd canto. It's there. Okay.
The residents of Marloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, they offer a praise to Lord Varaha. When Lord Varaha appeared from the nostril of Brahma, when he jumped into Garbhodaka ocean, when he was lifting the Bhumandala, that time they all offer prayers.
Okay.
It is there in that chapter.
Particular verses. Okay.
Not one verse, they offer prayers 10-15 verses.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
So it's like that. So we'll conclude with this last verse where Maitreya is saying that okay, they all spoke according to their understanding. So now things will move on. So how they move on? Iti daksha kaviryajnam bhadra rudrabhimarshitam kirtyamane hrishikeshe sanninye yajna bhavane.
Sri Maitreya said, after Lord Vishnu was glorified by all present, Daksha, his consciousness purified, arranged to begin again the yajna which had been devastated by the followers of Lord Shiva.
Yeah. Oh Vidura, after Lord Vishnu, the well-wisher of the sacrifice, Rishikeshe Yajna Bhavane, was glorified by all the personalities in that assembly. The wise Daksha, understanding what is what to some extent, restored the sacrifice spoiled by Veerabhadra. So now he requested the Ritvijas and the Brahmanas. So now Lord Vishnu has come. So by his presence, the entire environment is purified. So may you continue the sacrifice. Like that. So Veerabhadra refers to Veerabhadra who spoiled the sacrifice. Ananya means he started the sacrifice. The sacrifice began. So then what happened afterwards? What will be the response of Lord Vishnu, etc., etc.? We'll see the remaining 10 verses. That are 10 more verses in the chapter. With that, this section will complete. And then the 8th chapter, we will continue to discuss the descendants of Uttanapada. Swayambhu Manu had 5 children, out of which we discussed in the first chapter the descendants of Akuti, who married to Sage Ruchi, then Devahuti, who married Kardama, then Prasuti, who married Daksha. So Daksha begot 16 daughters, out of which 13 were given to Dharma, 14th was given to Agni, 15th was given to Pitrus, 16th was given to Lord Shiva. So before begetting children, Sati burnt herself. So why she burnt? Why did not beget children? That was the inquiry made by our Vidura. For that, Maitreya is speaking all these things. So this chapter will conclude with this episode. Then the next chapter will continue with the discussion of the descendants of Uttanapada. And the fifth canto, there is a discussion about the descendants of Priyavrat Maharaj. So that's how the topic moves on. So we will meet next Saturday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
So request all the devotees to take part in the festivities tomorrow. His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj is there personally and he'll be speaking in the evening for the pleasure